Once upon a time, in a city filled with towering skyscrapers and hurried people, there lived a man named David. David was a man with great ambition, always in a rush to achieve success. He worked tirelessly, often feeling frustrated when things didn't go his way. Despite his hard work, he felt like he was missing something important. One afternoon, after losing an important job interview that he had been preparing for weeks, David felt a deep sense of despair. To clear his mind, he decided to take a walk in the city park, a place he rarely visited. The park was a serene escape from the city's chaos, with lush green trees and the soothing sound of birds chirping. As David wandered through the park, his attention was caught by a small bird with a broken wing, struggling to fly. The sight of the helpless bird touched David's heart. He gently picked up the bird, cradling it in his hands, and decided to take it to a nearby veterinary clinic. As he walked to the clinic, he couldn't help but feel a connection to the bird's struggle, reflecting on his own challenges. At the vet clinic, David met an elderly woman named Margaret. She was there with her sick dog, a loyal companion who had been with her for many years. Margaret noticed the concern in David's eyes and struck up a conversation with him. She shared her own story, speaking of the many trials she had faced in her life and how she believed in the power of patience and God's perfect timing. David, still disheartened from his recent setback, wondered aloud how Margaret could remain so calm and composed despite her dog's condition. Margaret smiled warmly and said, "I trust that God has a plan for everything, including this moment. Sometimes, we can't see the bigger picture, but we have to believe that there is one." Intrigued by Margaret's faith, David decided to spend more time with her, hoping to learn from her wisdom. Over the next few weeks, David and Margaret developed a deep friendship. They would often meet in the park, where Margaret would share stories from her life and the lessons she had learned along the way. She spoke of her late husband, who had taught her the value of patience and trust in God's plan. She spoke of the years they had spent together, building a life filled with love and faith, even in the face of adversity. Margaret also introduced David to her garden, a beautiful sanctuary in her backyard filled with vibrant flowers and lush plants. She explained that she had planted the garden years ago, and it had taken time, effort, and patience to see it flourish. Margaret's garden became a powerful metaphor for David. He began to understand that just like the garden, his life needed time to grow and prosper. The seeds of his efforts would eventually bear fruit, but only if he nurtured them with patience and faith. One day, while visiting Margaret, David noticed a particularly beautiful flower in the garden. Margaret explained that this flower had taken the longest to bloom, but it was now the most stunning in the entire garden. This resonated deeply with David. He realized that the most beautiful and meaningful things in life often take the most time to develop. Margaret's wisdom and faith helped David see that rushing through life wouldn't bring true success. He started to apply patience in his own life, trusting God's timing. Slowly but surely, things began to change for him. He found a job that he loved, made new friends, and even helped others along the way. He began to volunteer at the vet clinic where he had first met Margaret, finding joy in helping injured animals and supporting others in their times of need. One evening, while reflecting on his journey, David realized that God's timing had always been perfect. He thought back to the bird with the broken wing and how it had led him to Margaret and a new perspective on life. He understood that every setback, every moment of frustration, had been part of a larger plan that he couldn't see at the time. David met Margaret one last time before she moved to live with her daughter in another city. He asked her, "How did you stay so patient and trusting all these years?" Margaret replied, "It's simple, dear. I always knew God had a plan, even when I couldn't see it. Life is like a tapestry. Up close, it looks like a mess of threads, but step back, and you see the beautiful pattern." David smiled, feeling grateful for the lessons he had learned. He understood that God's timing was perfect, and sometimes, we just need to wait and trust. He looked at Margaret's garden one last time, realizing that it was a reflection of his own life, a testament to the beauty that comes with patience, faith, and trust in God's plan. Sometimes, in life, we rush through things and miss the beauty of God's plan. But remember, God's timing is perfect, even when it seems like we're waiting forever. Don't lose hope. Reflect on your life and see where patience and trust could change your path. I hope this story reminds you to trust in God's perfect timing. Thanks for watching, and stay blessed.